People are asking over and over again. I was one of them. What's different between you and Joe Biden?
Yeah.
That must have been difficult because you have to differentiate yourself as a candidate,
right.
and yet you respect this man who you're still working for at the same time. What was that like to navigate?
And I say that because you're raising something that you and I both know requires a lot more time than we probably have right now to talk about.
Are we in a hurry? Are we in a hurry, guys?
Hey, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he's putting her on the spot, and now she has no excuses. Stop trying to beat around. I mean, if we had plenty of time so I can get into the details. I mean, we might be here for hours. Oh, Steven just said there's no time limit. Let's talk. Like, the excuses. Hey, thank you for clicking this video. Just to let you know, this is a clip from my previous live stream that I did. Just want to let you know I go live every Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you don't know what time that is, go ahead and Google that so you can meet me and have a conversation on my next stream. Once again, I appreciate you clicking this video. Now let's enjoy the video. When it comes to Kamala Harris, when it comes to Miss Harris, okay, which once again, she's not the worst of the worst. I don't want people to get the wrong impression. But when it comes to running this country, it's not her. Okay, now once again, I prefer Miss Harris over Donald Trump and virtually any Republican. I get that. But once again, Harris wouldn't be my top 10. And when it comes to the 2024 election, we can probably make a full entire list of every single reason why Harris and the Democrats lost to, there's a lot of words I want to say to refer to Trump, but I'm on YouTube and Twitch, so I can't be saying all these crazy things, to this evil, hateful, racist individual like Trump. Okay, he is the definition of stupidity by every stretch of the imagination, okay? So when it comes to what happened last election, one, like poor messaging, like going on interviews. She probably only did a few handful. I know she had 107 days, but still, she lacked on that. When it comes to her presence on social media, once again, it's 2025 or 2024 back then. There's no excuse to not just be in everybody's social media feed, especially when you want them to hear what you got to say. Get on Twitch, get on YouTube, something, anything. To me, that's a reason why she lost. Once again, her lukewarm messaging. That's just about, all the liberals within the Democratic Party. But the boring, normal, lukewarm, breadcrumbs type of messaging is a turnoff. And we're going to look at the stats, but in my humble opinion, looking at the data, people don't want that. People don't want lukewarm policies anymore. This isn't, 2000. This ain't 2008. We need progressive policies, and she didn't deliver that. And I read her entire 9-page policy plan. It was decent, better than Trump, but once again, missing the mark. Once again, no primaries. People didn't want Harris. Even though she was the vice president, once again, she's very qualified to be president, but people didn't want her. So when they didn't have primaries, so we can do this thing called, democracy, people didn't like that. And they failed at that. And then last but not least, the whole Gaza-Israel genocide that's happening over there. People don't want a president to continue to support Israel doing this genocide. Once again, when she didn't clarify that she would end it or anything, voters didn't want to show up. Now, once again, I told you, when we're when you're watching my type of content, okay, you're going to get the facts. You're going to get the data. So let's go over just real quick. When it comes to Joe Biden in 2020, Joe Biden accumulated 51.31% of votes. Harris in 2024 got 48.32%. Let that register for a second. And this is just Democrat voters. What happened to, 3% and some change? What happened to that? In 2020, Joe Biden received 81.3 million votes, the highest in U.S. history, and eligible voters is 66.8%. Let that register for a second. In 2024, Harris received 75.6 million votes. That is a whopping, let me see, I have that over here somewhere. Where is that? That is around 3% difference of Democratic voters who voted for Biden in 2020 compared to voting for Harris in 2024. So what that tells me is Democratic voters did not show up. Once again, Democratic voters, for whatever reason, didn't want to vote for Harris. Trump won by 1.5% of votes in 2024. So just doing some simple math, I'm not a mathematician, but doing some simple math, it seems like the Democratic Party, the liberals, shot their own foot. You see what I'm saying? They lost their own race. You can't blame it on nobody else when you look at the data. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Now she's on Stephen Colbert.
107 days. This is
pull this up here. She's on Stephen Colbert. Where is this? I told you I switched all this up, so I need to make sure I got this here. Now we got to throw on the blockers because I don't want to get penalized by YouTube. So that's what that's for. So she's on Stephen Colbert's show here, and I was hoping she was going to say something that at least demonstrated that she learned something, some sort of reflection. Like, I don't know, lie to me. At this point, just lie to me. I don't know, man, but it's worse than what she's going to say here. We got a $5 super chat. I missed that. I'm sorry, Mr. Kenneth. $5. I appreciate that. Once again, you can sit in the back row just for today. Once again, you are amazing. I appreciate that. That's beautiful. Thank you, and thank you. But once again, when it comes to Harris, it's a letdown, and that really sucks. So let's go ahead, go to our first mark here, and let's take a listen.
compliment him as often as I can for having the courage to do what he did.
Well, you announced yesterday, you made an announcement that you're not running for the governor of California.
Correct.
Even though in early polling you beat every other candidate by double digits,
Yeah.
you said you're going to sit this one out. Why are you sitting this one out? Are you saving yourself for a different office that might be?
No.
That's what everybody obviously.
I know, but honestly,
obviously, people project onto
no,
you their
I
hopes and
understand.
dreams.
And honestly, that it's more perhaps basic than that. Listen, I am a devout public servant. I have spent my entire career in service of the people. And I thought a lot about running for governor. I love my state. I love California. I've served as just elected district attorney, attorney general, and senator. But to be very candid with you, when I was young in my career, I had to defend my decision to become a prosecutor with my family. And one of the points that I made is, why is it then when we think we want to improve a system or change it, that we're always on the outside on bended knee or trying to break down the door? Shouldn't we also be inside the system? And that has been my career. And recently, I made the decision that.
What she just said there, and I wanted to highlight this. And once again, we're not going to watch the whole entire 28 minutes. But what she just said right there is facts. It's truth. Like, once again, if you want something to change, being on the outside sometimes can help. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at James Baldwin. Look at Malcolm X. So many people. They didn't become government officials to enact change. They were on the outside. They were activists, and they know how to use their platform. Great job. But if you feel like you need to work within the system to make some sort of change, that's a good job too. I understand sometimes you want to get your hands dirty. You want to actually be in there. And I appreciate that. But once again, what she failed to understand is you can't go into the system and continue to do the same actions to uphold that same system that everybody dislikes, that continues to abstain the status quo. That doesn't work. How are you going to go within a system, maintain the status quo, and be upset because the system is still doing its system thing? That is crazy. That doesn't work. And we see that. We see that. And it's not working. So it's kind of weird that she acknowledges that, but still chooses to abstain the status quo. Don't do that. That's a bad look.
For now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken. I think there's so much, there are so many good people who are public servants, who do such good work, teachers and firefighters and police officers and nurses and scientists. And so it's not about them, but, I believe, and I always believed, that as fragile as our democracy is, our systems would be strong enough to defend our most fundamental principles. And I think right now that they're not as strong as they need to be, and I just don't want to, for now, I don't want to go back in the system. I want to travel the country, I want to listen to people, I want to talk with people, and I don't want it to be transactional where I'm asking for their vote.
Once again, that makes sense. I get it. You don't want to make this as a transaction, which I honestly don't care, because I don't need you to be my best friend. I don't need to drink a beer with you and just kick it. No, I want to vote for you so you can enact the change or the policies that I voted you in for. That seems pretty transactional to me. I understand it. I get it. But once again, when she says, I want to listen to the voters, I want to hear what they got to say, I don't know if you want that. Not a lot of people are going to say, I want to go back to 2020 or go back to what is it? Obama years, which once again, I get it, is way better than Trump on any day. But at the same time, Democratic voters, we expect more. We want more. That's what they're there to do, is to provide for us. You work for us, not the other way around. And some Democratic voters don't see that. And they're not going to vote blue no matter who. You see what I'm saying? They don't care. Because Democrat voters, we have principles. We have values. And if you don't meet up to that measure, they're not going to vote for you. No matter how presidential you talk, no matter how presidential you look, no. Don't matter if you black, Asian, Mexican, white, woman, man, anything in between. No, that doesn't work. So now let's go to our last point here at 2037. 2037. Now, this right here, Okay. Stephen Colbert, he's a great interviewer, and he's a Democrat. I don't know if he's progressive, but when he's asking you a really simple question, okay, and you stumble or you try to dodge the question and he has to re-ask the question, and you're seeing her mumbling and stuttering and trying to ballerina dance around the question, it's a bad look. That means you are trying not to be authentic with your answer that everyone expects for you to answer. Like, what's 2 plus 2? And you're trying to do all this weirdness to not say 4. People notice that. So let's take a listen.
I mean, left it all on the field, and I don't regret a day of that.
You had a great team, but you also had a friend, a mentor, someone you respected greatly in the office of the president, who had just stepped away. What was that like when you saw Joe Biden walk on stage at that debate? And it did not go well. Spoiler, it did not go well in that debate. Therefore, you became the candidate. At what point in the, say, month that followed that, did people start saying, you might need to be prepared for this?
Let me say something about Joe Biden. I have an incredible...
Okay, once again, listen to the question. Come on.
...amount of respect for him.
Friend, a mentor, someone you respected greatly in the office of the president, who had just stepped away. What was that like when you saw Joe Biden walk on stage at that debate? And it did not go well. Spoiler, it did not go well in that debate. Therefore, you became the candidate. At what point in the, say, month that followed that, did people start saying, you might need to be prepared for this?
So he's pretty much saying, hey, we all notice Joe Biden's old as hell. When did you start to notice that?
Let me say something about Joe Biden. I have an incredible amount of respect for him.
Okay.
And I think that the way that we should be thinking about where we are right now is to remember that we had a president of the United States who believed in the rule of law. Who believed in the importance of aspiring to have integrity and to do the work on behalf of the people. And that's where I'll leave that.
Okay, that's where you leave that. You see Colbert looking at his question cards, his cue cards, and like, I don't think she answered my question. What?
I think that's a fine sentiment and all true. I'm just curious, did people say to you, you should be prepared for this?
There were some who did, but listen, it was Joe's decision, and he made that decision.
So then you go to run for president yourself, and people are asking you to separate yourself from Joe Biden. People are asking over and over again, I was one of them. What's different between you and Joe Biden?
Yeah.
That must have been difficult because you have to differentiate yourself as a candidate, and yet you respect this man who you're still working for at the same time. What was that like to navigate?
I talk about that extensively in the book.
And it's in the chapter with Doug.
No, it's because, and I say that because you're raising something that you and I both know requires a lot more time than we probably have right now to talk about.
Are we in a hurry? Are we in a hurry, guys?
Hey, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he's putting her on the spot. And now she has no excuses. Stop trying to beat around. I mean, if we had plenty of time so I can get into the details, I mean, we might be here for hours. Oh, Stephen just said, there's no time limit. Let's talk. Like, the excuses, just the reason why you lost, a majority of it is because people don't want another Joe Biden. If people wanted another Joe Biden, they would vote for Joe Biden. People don't want that. And she still is fumbling. When she was on The View, they asked her the same question, and she said there's no separation. There'll be no difference. And she's doing the same thing now. Oh man, I swear these people don't know nothing. They don't learn anything.
Go ahead.
Thanks, everyone.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel very strongly that it's an instinct of mine to be someone who does not participate in piling on. And I was not going to pile on. And I just wasn't going to do that. And there was a lot of piling on at that time, and I wasn't going to participate in that.
Well, one person you did pile on.
Oh my gosh. What are we doing? No. That was a bad answer. That was ridiculous. That was, once again, another lifeline someone like Steven tried to give her. Like, okay, we're going to try this again. It's like Charlie Brown, and the little girl that holds up the football, for Charlie Brown to kick it. And once again, instead of the little girl moving the ball for Charlie Brown to miss it, she's missing it herself. Like, no one's moving the football and she misses it. Like, what is going on here? And once again, I'm not. Yeah, Lucy. There you go, Lucy. I mean, we got a lot of old folks. We got a lot of old folks. It's like, I'm joking. You're not old. We're just seasoned. Okay, we're seasoned. Once again, I'm not a betting man. Okay, like I don't do predictions. None of that. But I'm saying this now, and I don't want another Republican to win. I get it. But if Harris is to run in 2028 and somehow, some way, she gets the primary, which we know liberals will try to rig as best as possible for their favor. We know that. But if somehow, some way, she becomes the nominee again, we are going to lose. We are going to lose. I'm saying that now in 2025. Okay, go ahead, clip this, do whatever you want, but she is going to lose with the same messaging. If she tries to do this old dusty playbook again, we're going to lose. That's simple.
Let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.